Hello, welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. You might notice there's a cute little new intro. Now, some videos I'm recording out of order, so some videos will have the old intro, or some videos will have the new intro. But I plan on using the new intro for future videos until I get bored and decide to change it up a little bit again. But anyway, my name is Breezy. This is Down the Rabbit Hole, and if you're new here and you like history, weird history, haunted history, paranormal activity, just random topics, then this is the podcast for you. We are in my living room. We are currently sitting on my couch. I'm currently watching Gilmore Girls. Yes, I do have sweats on. Do I care? No. Is my hair in a messy bun? Yes. Should I care that I'm being lazy and recording a podcast in sweats? Not really, because it's a podcast. Who comes on to see what people are wearing? For crying out loud. And some days, for crying out loud, you just don't want to be pretty. I don't feel like being pretty today. I feel like being lazy today, if I'm being honest, but we can't do that though. We need to get work done, and I need to get all these episodes recorded so I can focus on my more other projects that I have going on because I cannot seem to keep my mind to focus on one little thing. I think I have undiagnosed ADHD, if I'm being honest. Even maybe undiagnosed autism. But anyway, today, we're going to be talking about Rose Memorial Hall, aka Rose Hall, which is a historic house in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole history of Atlanta, Georgia, because I've went over that in videos before me, so I'm just going to put that out there. But Rose House was built, and Rose Hall was built as a home of furniture of the magnate Amos Gills Rose, who was proprietor of Atlanta-based Rose Furniture, who was a romantic revival house who occupies a prominent members on Peachtree Street. While we're on the concept of Atlanta, why are there so many Peachtree Streets? Can someone please answer me that question? The comments have been turned back on because I feel like maybe people will be a little nicer. Um, but I will go ahead and put this out there. You start using comments that are gonna be terrible and evil, then I will delete your comments. Comments will go back off. It's under strict, so I review all comments before they get published. Just so you know. But anyway, back to the episode. On the main street of Atlanta, and is listed in the National Register Home of Historical Places. And is open to the public and has been and it has been the home of the Georgia Trust of Historic Preservation since 1983. Now, the inspiration behind Rose Hall was a Romantics revival 9,000 square feet house inspired by Rhineland castles in the Rose admired in the trip to Europe in the late 1890s. An architectural Willis F. Denny designed a unique home with stone mountain granite, incorporating the medieval romantics, Victorian, and arts and craft designs, as well as necessary adaptations for the early 20th century home, as a 2 year construction house was completed in 1904. Now, let's talk about the architecture of this home. Um, Known as Le Rêve, meaning the dream, Rose Hall is one of the finest intact expressions of medievalism and late Victorian architecture design in Atlanta. Now, the grandest feature of the interior is a magnificent series of stained and painted glass windows and the rise of carved mahogany staircase. The three panel series the three panel series depicts the rise and fall of a Confederacy from Fort Sumter to Appomattox and includes the medallion portraits over a dozen Confederates, and these Confederate officers include ardent opponents of Reconstruction, a Grand Wizard of the KKK, and the head of the KKK in the state of Georgia. Now, let's talk about the characteristics of this home, okay? I'm sorry. I do have. I had a cold like literally almost 2 weeks ago, and I got that swimming part that I cannot shake whatsoever. It's so annoying because I'm tired of blowing my nose. I'm tired of this part because I'm like, want to be back to normal. Well, relatively as normal as I can be. But the house cost Rose about, back to the episode, okay? The house cost Rose about $50,000 to build in 1904. It was right for electricity when it was built. And the home was primarily, it was a prime example of the fascination that new technology held in the Atlantis at the turn of the century. Now, over 3,000 light bulbs were in the light bulbs light the entire house. And the house also had an electrical, but it's known as the security system. Among the materials um, used to build a home in the mahogany from the West Indies from the exterior granite was brought over by 500 pounds in the wagons from the Stone Mountain, located about 25 miles east of Atlanta. And although Rose Hall is surrounded by commercial buildings and heavy traffic, it has survived due to the careful historic preservation and restoration efforts. After the death of Rose and his wife, the children deeded the house to Georgia, with a restriction that the house be used for historic purposes, and state historian Ruth Blair moved to the Georgia Department of Archives and History to the house and lived in the house as well. And it was used in the house for the Georgia State Archives from 1930 to 1965. After the archives moved to a modern building, Rose Hall continued to provide archive services as a branch. In 1983, Rose Hall was transferred to a Georgia Trust for the Historic Preservation, which undertook a long-term restoration program. And the main stair and windows, which had been moved from the new archives, was brought back and reinstalled. Now, from 1984 to 1992, the house was a house attraction every year for Halloween prior to the renovation and conversation to a museum conversion to a museum. Now Rose Hall is used as both an event space and as the offices of the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation. They do house tours as well, which I plan on doing if I ever make it to Atlanta. But I'll be honest with y'all, I will be a passenger in Atlanta before I am ever a driver in Atlanta. I'm not joking on that one. But I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day and join me next time as we talk about the Shiloh National Military Park. Y'all have a great day and a happy Thanksgiving.